Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another episode of the Ballroom Breakdown. It is week 10, and it is the semifinals. I cannot believe that we have made it to the semis.
Yeah, and we're wearing our purple today because it was Prince night. Of course, it's Wednesday. Episode was last night, and we have so much to talk about when it comes to last night's episode. Each couple did 2 dances. No, unique, different, I don't know, categories of like the dance relay and things like that. It was just 2 dances, 2 different types of dances for each couple, and definitely a shocking elimination too.
Absolutely. It's something that not a lot of people expected. I know we both had. Did we just spoil it right away?
No, we'll talk about it. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there about the elimination. Yeah. But yeah, it was crazy. Definitely not what we would have expected, but I don't know if we're necessarily upset about it.
No, yeah.
But we're going into the finals with 5 couples.
Right. Well, and it's getting to that point of the season, the semifinals especially, where everybody, fans kind of have an attachment to everybody who's made it that far. Maybe not everybody, but I know that I really like all the couples that are remaining heading into last night. So I knew that no matter who was going home, it was going to be kind of sad because I think they're all deserving of going to the finale, some more than others. But we have seen with this show that, of course, the judge scores and the dancing plays a huge part, but social media influence and popularity, quote unquote, is also a big part of this competition, especially this season. Yes,
I think the 5 couples that we're seeing in the finals are probably the 5 couples with the biggest fan following, the most amount of votes, the people most active on TikTok.
Right?
I mean, it makes sense that they are the final 5.
Yeah.
But I think it goes to show how much that vote really is, has a lot of power and holds a lot of weight. So it was a fun night in the ballroom. Prince night, like you said, 2 dances from every single couple. So we have a lot of dances to break down, and it was a lot of fun. So we'll have to see kind of where our comments and thoughts take us this week.
We haven't fully talked about what we thought about last night yet. So people might be wondering that, like, do you guys talk about this before? Sometimes we do, but we try to save most of our thoughts for this, and sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
So Dana, why don't you kick us off with first dance of the night for the first dances?
Okay, first dance of the night. What we're going to do is we're going to bounce back or we're going to do both the dances from each couple in a row. So we won't, what they did it on the show, they did 1 round of dances, then another round. So we'll just do both the dances. So let's start off with the first dance, and that's going to be Elaine and Allan. They started off with a foxtrot. Now, I apologize, I did not write all the songs down, but I loved that moment at the beginning for Elaine. I've always said every single week she is just truly a performer, and I think she really uses that to her advantage to draw people in. I feel like she did that at the beginning. I feel like she really is just owning the floor and having so much fun with this dance. You could tell she was just beautiful. She was graceful. She really leaned into everything. I think halfway through we really saw a lot more of a moment, I guess I would say. I think the beginning started off a little bit slow, but for this dance, we have seen better from Elaine. I thought it was a beautiful dance. I actually wrote down I thought this dance deserved 10, but the judges kind of disagreed. The judges gave her all 9s, and they said they wanted to see a lot more fight from her. So they wanted to see the fight from her. They wanted to see more from her, and I think that was fair because I think that they know she can do so much more.
Yeah, I agree with that, and truthfully, I have to put it out there, I had to go back and rewatch these. I wasn't watching them live because I got on watching the show late last night. But when I went back and watched the dance this morning, I thought that, and I had already seen Elaine's other dance, so I thought it was a solid performance. I know that Elaine works so hard every single week, and I think that's what I know both me and you and a lot of the fans really love about her. She's now she's the oldest contestant, of course, with Andy. She was one of the older people on the show. She's not old by any means, but one of the older people. And I think that, that means that maybe she needs to work a little harder to be able to move. She's not, as young and agile, she's always said, as she used to be. So I think that she really puts in the effort. You can tell that she is dedicated and she gives it to her all. She's worked through a lot of injuries. So I love that about her. I just think when it comes to her dancing, I do think she is kind of in that lower level with the group. However, I love her and Allan's partnership. They're very so sweet together, and they have good chemistry when they dance. Not in like a romantic way, but they just move well together. You can tell that he trusts her, she trusts him, and they're just really sweet partnership. So I like that about them as well.
Yeah, I think they're a great couple, a fun couple to watch. But now what we got to jump into is Elaine's second dance. Now her second dance, she brought the fight. I mean, she took those judges' comments to heart, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm not taking that criticism. So she had a paso doble, which iconic type of dance. And let me tell you, you could see the fight and just like the determination in her face. She hit every single move so hard. You can tell once again, she is just leaning into this dance. You can see that I get goosebumps talking about it. I was like crying during this dance, I won't even lie. I was just rooting for her so hard. And for her first dance to be just a little and then now her second dance, she came out just swinging and fighting. And she said, I am not taking no for an answer. She said, I am gonna get a really good score on this dance. And she did just that. I love Elaine. I think that she actually, like, at that paso doble, I would put her up in the pack with all the other amazing dancers, all the youngins out there. I seriously would. And I know that maybe that's my bias showing a little bit, but I seriously think her dance compared to all the other paso dobles this season. I think that she shined in that dance. And I just think all she needs is just that little extra motivation. She's someone who just, you know, you get some criticism, she's going to take that and she's going to say, not anymore.
Right.
And I loved it. And she got perfect 10s, I think.
Yes, her first perfect score of the season, and I was really happy for her for that. I love the dance. I thought I wrote down that it was such a strong dance from Elaine. Again, love their partnership. The only thing I kind of agreed with Derek on this, I do wish that some of her moves were just a little bit sharper. If you go back and if I get really nitpicky, maybe some moves were just not like fully finished out, some of the arms and things like that. But all things considered, I loved it. And also her post-dance interview, I just wrote her post-dance interview sent me. That's what I wrote. And I can't remember exactly what she said, but I remember she's always talked about like, I'm doing the dang thing. And, you know, I'm 54, I think she is. And she's leading to that. And she also was emotional in one of her pre-dance interviews too. And you can tell that they're all really grateful for the experience. But again, she works hard. I think she always puts out a good performance. And I'm really, really happy that, that she's like back and she seems to, I didn't not want, when she got injured a couple weeks ago, I was so worried that she was going to have to leave the competition. And so to see her still dancing makes me really happy.
Yeah, I teared up watching her. I seriously, at the end in her like post comments, and I'm like, I could cry thinking about it. I just love her so much. I don't know why. I have such a connection to her.
And her Lisa, right, her friend,
oh my gosh,
there every single week in the audience who she did her dedication night dance too. And she just always has the sweetest fan base too.
Yes, and I just think Elaine is like really encompassing of what Dancing with the Stars is. You know, not a dancer, a little bit older, starts from the beginning, no experience, and then just works her way up. And look at her now. Like I would put her with all these other people who are so much younger and have so much more dance experience. And I would just put her right there with all them. Because she just has that fight in her. So I love Elaine.
I'm excited to see. We're definitely rooting for her heading into the finale, which is next week, if we didn't say that already. And it is going to be a challenging finale.
Crazy.
And we'll talk about that. Yeah, 3 hours. We'll talk about that, of course. But I'm really happy that she's in the finale. That is a little bit of a spoiler, but we'll talk about who went home, of course, in just a little bit. So let's go to our next couple.
Yeah, next couple. We
Alex
had
and Val, right?
Yep.
Yes. So let's go to their first dance. This was, did you write this down?
Argentine Tango.
Oh, yes, an Argentine Tango. This is another one that I missed. However, I did go back and watch it. Alex always looks amazing. I really like her partnership with Val. It's no secret if you've been watching other weeks of Ballroom Breakdown that I'm a really big fan of this partnership. I just think she always looks polished, professional, strong, confident. She really hasn't had a bad dance. Some of the leg movements I think could have been a little, those flicks, I think they could have been a little sharper. I will say that for sure. But all things considered, she's doing a lot in these routines. They're challenging. She's doing a lot of turns and lifts and jumps and leg movements, and she's proven that she has some flexibility too. So I've been really impressed with that. But I thought it was a solid routine out of them. What did you think?
I agree. I think that I like how you said she's always very polished. She always just looks very perfect.
But hardly ever makes a mistake.
No, you never see her seem worked up or seem like she's rushing or falling behind or just seems stressed. She always just seems like she's in the zone, locked in, and she always shows up and shows out. I agree with you, though. I feel like in this dance, it wasn't her best. Not that it wasn't great. I think it was beautiful. But her best is just, like, out of this world. And I feel like I was watching it, and I was like, okay, this is good. This is clean. But I wasn't getting, you know, like, the chills that I got from Elaine's paso doble. I was just kind of like, I know she can do better. And I agree with the flicks of the kicks, whatever you call those.
Could have been a little sharper.
Just a little bit harder, a little bit sharper, but she had so much content in that dance and so much to manage that I think she managed it very well. And once again, Val's an amazing coach and loved the dance. I don't know if it's because, like, I wrote down this week was the first week, I feel like they haven't had a ton of like props and backup dancers.
Yeah, it was just really about the dancing.
Yes, and maybe like that's why I'm like, oh, it wasn't as wow. Maybe that's why, which probably isn't really fair to them. But I don't know. It was just something about the dance. I was just kind of like, okay, it was really great, but it was just missing something.
Yeah, well, and something I was thinking about throughout the entire episode was each couple obviously had to do dances, or 2 dances, and I feel like they were more confident in one than the other. And I was kind of trying to put myself in their shoes and thinking about, I have to remember 2 full dances, and I'm trying to sell both of these dances. So with that in mind, I want to go to Alex's second dance, which was, I believe, a Viennese waltz. I loved this dance so much more. That's why I wanted to talk about this one. I thought this was way more Alex's speed. I think she's very graceful. She's tall. She's beautiful dancer, and I think that when she does these more graceful dances that have a little bit more like passion and emotion, I think that's a strong suit for her. And I just thought this dance was really great between the 2 of them. She was beautiful. She was strong. And I just think that she continues to impress me week after week. And I said it before, but she hardly ever makes a mistake. She's always consistent. Her kicks are good. And also, I think her gratitude for being on the show is super sweet. So that obviously is a little bit aside from the dancing, but I definitely think has worked really hard. I think she's proven herself. If you think about where she was at week 1, a little nervous, maybe lacking confidence. I think I personally have noticed a change in her confidence. I think her dances have shown her confidence level has skyrocketed, and she looks like she's not just dancing, but she's really performing. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. I think I like how you segued into her second dance, because I agree. I think she spent a lot more time on her second dance. I mean, it was Purple Rain. So whoever had Purple Rain, like, you had to do it justice. Yeah. So I am really happy they got it, and I agree. I think that she is just so much more elegant. Not that she's not elegant in her other dances, but I think those very elegant and smooth moving dances are so much more for her. I think she just flows beautifully. Like you said, her lines are amazing. I actually wrote down that I'm seeing a whole new side of her. I feel like I don't even recognize her, but in a good way. I feel like we knew her through social media, through like her TikToks, going to a party in college, or being, you know, a blonde Miami girl, whatever. Whereas I feel like now I'm seeing this whole new emotional side of her, and I feel like she's just maturing in front of our eyes. And like,
that is so true. I hadn't really thought about that, but you're so right about that.
And I don't know what it was. I'm also kind of like, she was very emotional last night, especially after this dance. I don't know if, like, we haven't seen her boyfriend on social media lately. I don't know if there's something there, but she was kind of more emotional than we're used to seeing. So I think I was a little shocked by that. I don't know if you agree. Her dances were beautiful, though. Not to go
no, they were. But yeah, I mean, obviously every celebrity has like a little bit of a story with why they're on the show and their progression throughout the show. And I personally think if you watch her, because I have been following her on TikTok for years, and she was always on the go, always, you know, traveling here, doing a million things, partying here. She could like always posting. She gets very little sleep, even in college. People always joke like, you have more hours in a day than I think I do, because she's always doing stuff. She's hardly ever resting. But I feel like this show is taking up most of her time. She's putting everything into it, and I feel like maybe that's forced her to slow down a little bit, to really focus in on one thing, because she does a lot of stuff. She does all this stuff with brands. She's in commercials. She has a podcast. She does all these things, but this is really her focus right now. So I think maybe that's also why we haven't seen, because her boyfriend's an NFL player. So I think that they've been separated. But it has raised some questions too. Obviously, that's a side note.
But, we're getting on a
heading
tangent.
Into the finale, I think that Alex and Val are a true, I said it in previous weeks, but I think they are a true contender for the Mirror Ball. They are probably my pick for the Mirror Ball, and I've said why previously, but I don't know. I just think she really too embodies. I don't think she came in with any professional dance experience, definitely no ballroom experience. I think she's worked really hard and grown a lot.
100%. I think at the beginning of the season she was good, but she wasn't, you know, a dancer. Now she's a dancer. You can tell she has just worked hard. You can tell Val's an amazing teacher. So I'm rooting for her as well. I don't know if she'd be my pick. I have to think about who my pick is going to be. I guess we should probably make those.
But
I would put her up there, because she's so talented and beautiful, and I'd be happy for her to win, for sure. And what scores did she get again? She got all 10.
She got a perfect score on that Viennese waltz, and I don't have her scores.
And then she got in the Argentine tango, she got a 9-10-9, which I think is very fair. And we got to talk about the judges scoring. I was saying, I feel like last night was the best scoring from the judges I've seen all season. It was fair. They weren't throwing out perfect 10s like it was candy. They had, you know, they had a few 9s here. I actually was saying I agreed with Carrie Ann in her comments for once in a while. I think Carrie Ann did what she was supposed to do for the semifinals, because it's to get into the finals. You have to give that feedback and that critiques so that people can improve, because now it's not just, you know, look cute and smile and have fun. Now it's like you're dancing for a finale for the Len Goodman Mirrorball Trophy.
True.
So I love the judges last night.
Yeah, they did so much better. I think they were actually really looking at technique and is the choreography fitting the style of dance? And are you, again, not just dancing, but are you performing? Are you attacking these dances? Are you really finishing all your moves? I think they were really honing in on that a little bit more. And I was happy to see more consistent scoring rather than some of that favoritism that we've seen in previous weeks. So can't wait to see Alex and Val in the finale. They are going to need to really deliver in the finale.
100%.
Let's go to our next couple.
Okay, into our next couple is Whitney and Mark. So they started off with a cha-cha, which Whitney was very excited about because she wanted to, as she said, and I quote, shake her butt. So she was really excited about this. I mean, you see it right there. I mean, she is such a fun performer. I will say, like, whenever she dances, I'm always drawn to her. I'm always excited to what she's going to throw at us. I'm always excited to see what she does. I wrote down that I feel like this cha-cha was her cleanest, like, quick dance that she's done. Because I feel like all season, Whitney has had a little bit. Also, that was a little edgy.
Yeah.
I was shocked she did that.
Definitely, definitely a little out there.
I watched that. I was
spicy.
Like, whoa, okay, okay. But anyway, I wrote down, I think that's her cleanest quick dance that she's done, whether it be a drive, a cha-cha, whatever, a quick step, because I feel like most of her dances, she's either fallen behind on timing or been rushing the timing or has just looked a little chaotic, I would say, because she is such a performer and really like gives it her all. I feel like there have been those quick dances where I'm just like, whoa, she's got a lot going on and she looks like she's all over the place a little bit. That dance, I was like, oh, she's clean, she's locked in, she's on time. Like, that was my favorite quick dance from her.
She definitely was really focused on the technique, and she has gotten some criticism from the judges and even fans from being off time. And if you want the perfect score, you can't do that. Her cha-cha from way earlier in the season to shake you bloop was probably my favorite dance from her up this far in the season. I think it was on TikTok night, and that was so her. And she does really well with those cha-cha, those fun dances, because she is such a performer. She's got the facial, she has the emotions, she's fun, she's sassy, she's energetic, she does well with those. But she really is a full performer. Like, again, her facials, her acting is top tier. She's attacking these dances every single week, and I think that has been one of her strong suits. It's what makes her stand out in the competition. And she did get some criticism, I will say. Carrie Ann has been kind of hot and cold with her, sometimes giving her, not a lot of feedback. And then last night, I think, said she needs to focus more on her technique. And I think she had to do that in her second dance.
Absolutely. In her second dance, she had a Viennese waltz. And I, again, wrote down, I feel like she's finally figuring out her timing. I think she's looking beautiful. I actually really love this dance from her. I thought she looked so beautiful. It looked effortless. And I feel like that really puts you apart in this competition when these dances start looking effortless. So I love this. I know we were talking about the little tassels on her wrists. I think that just adds to the dance so much. I think Mark's choreography is so amazing, and he knows how to like just fit the style to what's best for them, and like what's best for the dancer. I wrote down, I feel like she controls her body very well, especially in these dances. You can tell she's in total control of the dance, total control of her body. And I'm actually watching her and not Mark, which I feel like can be interesting in different cases. When it comes to the pro and the celebrity, sometimes you are just naturally drawn towards the pro because, they've been doing it for so long. They're so good. But in this dance, and honestly, a lot of Whitney and Mark's dances, I'm drawn to Whitney. So I like that dance a lot better than the cha-cha, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think I did too, because it was simple. It was really about the technique. She couldn't really rely on her facials and that acting element. She had to just nail, like you said, the effortless beauty and grace of a Viennese waltz. And timing, of course, is really important too. And I think she nailed it. That dance did get a perfect score, and rightfully so.
I think it deserved
She got really good feedback from all the judges. Carrie Ann was almost tearing up, talking about how, I know I'm hard on you sometimes, but you really proved yourself with that dance. And I think she was emotional as well, because she has talked in previous weeks about getting in her head and having a hard time tuning out the noise. And I think that she really did that with that dance. She proved that she really is, she's a standout.
By far a standout, but we got to talk about it. Spoiler alert, Whitney was eliminated.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunately her
Crazy.
last night on Dancing with the Stars.
I think we were both like,
I'm still shocked.
What?
Yeah, like jaw on the floor. I am in, well, okay. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying I'm shocked. I think
you're surprised, not shocked.
Yes, I'm surprised that she isn't in the finale because she is such a phenomenal dancer. She was set up for success with Mark. She has had beautiful dances every single week. But once again, I think the fan vote is going to show how much weight that really cares.
Yes.
And we were talking about it. I think Secret Lives of Mormon Wives being released the week before this ruined her.
Yeah.
I don't think that was in her favor.
And if you're not familiar with the show, it's gotten really big. It's on Hulu. Of course, it's an ABC show. I mean, it's kind of how she even, she has a big TikTok following, but and so she's part of the Mom Talk group. And she was not in part of the season, but when she came back to join the season, which was just released like less than a week ago, she basically talked about how she wanted to come back on the show because she wanted to be able to audition for Dancing with the Stars.
Yep.
So I think not only did her co-stars on the show take that the wrong way, but a lot of people took that the wrong way, that she's a clout chaser. She just wants the fame, and that she's not, not like some people feel like some of the other celebrities are more humble, and they just think that she's kind of cocky. But she has gotten hate all season long for coming in with dance experience. My argument to that is people kept Andy going for as long as he did because they said he was entertaining. Well, we talk about how we didn't really watch Mark in those dances. We watch Whitney because she's entertaining. She's a performer.
Yeah.
So I think that you can't say, oh, well, this is why Andy stayed on, and then have that criticism for Whitney. There's been plenty of celebrities that have come on the show with dance experience. Many of them have even won. So that was not a reason to bully her and say that you're not going to vote for her. And she got a lot of that.
Right. She did. She got a lot of hate all season long. And I'm really curious to see like how far her votes actually took her, because she did have such amazing scores the entire season that it was like, obviously she's not going home. Obviously she's not going home.
Yeah.
And she does have a good social media following. So you would think she has all that weight in the popularity side of things too. But I think this week really go to show that there was actually quite a few people against her, considering that she's the one who went home compared to everybody else. I mean, I do feel like there are some people in the finale who maybe don't have as big of a social media following as her. But I agree with you. I feel bad for her because it's tough.
I wanted to see her in the finale.
It's tough. Yeah, I would have loved to see a Mark freestyle. I would have loved to see what she does in the finale. And I would have loved for her to have that opportunity because she is such an amazing dancer. However, I do also ride the train a little bit of she did have that dance experience, but I agree in your Andy comment that like we kept Andy going and he wasn't even dancing. So, I mean, I don't even know what to think of it. I don't like how she clout chased though. I think like that I can get on that hate train
bad PR
all day.
move. And I don't think that she even thought about that the season, maybe she didn't even know that the season was going to come out right before the finale. But that's why we say we're surprised, not shocked, because we're surprised because she was consistently on the top of the leaderboard. She was such a good dancer. All of her dances were really amazing, even on those weeks that we didn't love them as much. But I'm not shocked because the past 2 weeks she has been in the bottom 3. And she was this close.
Coming.
Yeah, she was this close. And so we've been talking about off camera, we've been talking a lot about how she doesn't have the fan votes. People are against her. And I think we saw obviously that contribute to her being voted off the show yesterday because it had nothing to do with judges' scores. Her scores were for both dances were really good.
Yeah.
So it was the fan vote.
But I like that we're keeping the heart of Dancing with the Stars at what it is, because I think the 5 people in the finale are the people who have really been amazing all across the board, but also have grown.
Yes.
I feel like Whitney has been just amazing since day one.
Honestly,
it's not fair to her.
I know, and it's hard because you feel like she's the best dancer, but what you're saying in the spirit of the show, and it's going to be such a battle for the Mirrorball Trophy because everybody's not necessarily on a level playing field, but people are going to have to decide what celebrity who came along with no dance experience is really gonna take it. So, okay, we need to move on to our next couple, which
I think I skipped a couple.
Okay.
Dylan and Daniela. Sorry,
yes.
I think they were, okay, I got mixed up. So
that's
go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So this was their first dance, which was a tango, and I did not write the song down. Okay, we've been critics of Dylan, right? And I'm going to speak honestly here. I liked what I saw from him in this dance. I really did. I think that he had much more confidence in comparison to previous weeks. I loved the song choice. I actually thought the song choice was kind of fun for the dance. His moves were sharper. I've seen a little more awkwardness and a little less confidence from him in previous weeks. I didn't necessarily see that here. We don't always agree with the judges when they say he's the leading man. I thought he was in that dance.
Yeah.
I did agree with Carrie-Anne about feeling the music. I think he does look really focused typically on just guiding Daniela, and he's not like really feeling the dance usually, but his frame was strong. He gets critiqued for his frame a lot because he's kind of got like his butt out and his shoulders up, but I thought it was good. What did you think?
I think he looked stiff, which I think goes ahead with the frame. But I did write down that although he looks very stiff, I do think he improves week after week. I will say I think I like him a little bit more every week. He works very hard. He cares about it, and he's not bad. He's not terrible. I think there's been worse people on the show, and so I'm not mad about the dance. The dance was fine, but again, it just wasn't so like show-stopping. I just think he looked too stiff for a tango. And I actually feel like I wrote down, I don't get how that song was a tango.
Yeah.
I don't think the song worked in their favor. In my opinion, maybe that was just me that thought that.
I think I just like the song, but I agree. It's not really the best
tango.
But yeah, the pacing of it.
Yeah, I just wrote down, I just feel like he looks stiff, but it wasn't bad. I've seen worse dances. I think there were other dances that were definitely a bit weaker throughout the night.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a ton of comments about him. Once again, my bias showed just a little bit. But I mean, it was just stiff. I just think it was stiff. And that's all I have to say. But when they cut to Zac Efron, his brother, Zac was in the crowd.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Let's talk about that. And if you were watching last night, you obviously would have noticed this. All season long, people have been waiting because Dylan's had multiple other members of his family, his younger sister Olivia, and other siblings and his parents, of course. But we have not seen Zac Efron, his very famous brother, and honestly, a big reason as to why he's even on the show, because he's really not that big of a star. Nepotism. So we've been waiting. Everybody's been waiting. I've been seeing on Twitter for weeks, people have been like, when are we going to see Mr. Zac Efron in the ballroom?
Yeah.
And I have a theory. I think it was very strategic, and maybe Dylan kind of worked a deal out with him, because apparently Zac doesn't live in the United States right now.
Oh, what?
So,
I had no idea.
And I thought I saw that somewhere, but Dylan probably was like, if you're going to come and I make it to the semifinals, that's when I'm really going to need you, because people are going to see you and they're going to be like, well, maybe then you'll come for the finale. So we have to keep Dylan in, right?
Yeah. Do you think that's why people kept him for so long? Is because they're like, we want to see Zac. We want to see
Honestly,
Zac. He has to come.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like,
no.
I wouldn't be surprised either. That's why I would have kept him. I would have been like, okay.
To be honest with you, I haven't consistently given, 10 votes every single week to Dylan and Daniela.
I never vote for him.
I think Daniela is absolutely amazing, and he has a great partner, and that heavily works in his favor, because she's being referred to this season as the Ferrari of dancing. She's probably the best pro currently, the best female pro. I mean, just in terms of choreography and strength. And I mean, she's just always like, she's just amazing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let's talk about
their second dance.
Let's talk about their second dance, and then we'll have more thoughts. This was a cha-cha, which is way more Dylan style.
Oh yeah.
He loves to move those hips. I thought that first little move was good. I thought this dance was, I didn't put on a ton of notes, but I thought the choreography was fun. The moves were sharp. Did he maybe still not look a little awkward? Maybe, but he was really, popping out those arms, popping out those legs. I appreciate his commitment to being really strong.
Yeah.
And I think that worked in his favor. And of course, Daniela's always amazing. I know he just loved this part right here, because he loves shaking those hips.
He loves himself. Yeah.
And I say that because they always incorporate that in other dances.
Which he does move his hips much better compared to the rest.
And then, of course, they had to put this in at the end because there's so many people that just think he is so cute. And that's why they keep voting for him week after week. But I did agree with Carrie-Anne about the arms. They need a little more, like a little more length. I think that was a critique that he got. But other than that, Dylan, I really thought he was going to go home this week.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that out of the rest of the competitors, that I think he was the weakest. And I think even when we've seen him get really good scores, I think largely that's because of his partner. So they did not go home. Obviously, we talked about Whitney being eliminated. Right. So we'll see him in the finale, I guess.
Yeah, I think that cha-cha, the cha-cha. I think that, honestly, I wrote down the beginning. Typically, in the beginning of the season, I would have thought that was cringy. The beginning was not that cringy for me anymore.
No.
I was okay with it.
He was really leaning into it.
Yes, he leaned into it. It didn't look as cringy watching him. I was okay with it. The second half, that's a different story. I still thought it was a little cringy.
Yeah.
But I love how he just leaned into moving his hips, because he does move his hips, like, a lot better than most,
Honestly,
most
and he's not
males
afraid
do.
to maybe like embarrass himself a little bit and, not feel like, oh, I'm so masculine, I can't do that.
Right. So it was a fun dance, but like I wrote down, he's just not finale deserving to me. I just don't think he's finale deserving. I think the only reason he is in the finale is because of Daniela, I think. I think either Zach and Daniela. Sorry, Dylan. I mean, your dances were fine. I'm sorry not to give you your flowers.
He's probably thought about that too, though.
I just think that too, like, I think obviously Zach helped him a lot. And I think everybody knows Daniela and her freestyles are second to none.
Yes.
I mean, her freestyles.
They want to see what she's going to do.
Yes, and I want to see what she's going to do.
Yeah, me too.
I was like deep down like, okay, I'm fine if he stays, because then we get to see Daniela do a freestyle. Yeah. And I'm curious to see what they can do. I hope that it, lives up to what it can be with Dylan. We'll have to see what happens, but I don't think he was finale deserving. I haven't thought that all season. But am I mad we're going to see a Daniela freestyle? Not mad about it.
No, so. I'm not either. And we'll see. I don't think he's going to win, but.
Should we talk about his scores real quick?
Yeah.
For the Cha-Cha, he got a 9, a 9, and a 10. I literally wrote down, Bruno, what?
Yeah,
why are we giving him a 10? That was not a 10.
Yeah.
And then he got all 9s for the first one. And it was so funny. Zac Efron, his brother, looks at his mom and goes, are those good scores? And
he has no idea.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, cool. Like, we saw him mouth at us on all over social media right now. So it was, a fun night for Dylan, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I have to add.
Same. Okay, let's
move on.
Yeah, let's go to our next couple.
Okay, this was Jordan and Ezra. So they started off with, what was it, a jive?
A jive.
Yes, a jive. Okay, I wrote down, I have very high hopes for this dance. I love to walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
That was kind of unique and different. I said that I think she definitely brought the personality and all the fun. I don't know if it was maybe lacking a little bit of content. This dance just felt kind of like last week, where it was super fun, and she's such a performer and she's so good, but there was just still a little something with this one that I was missing, I think. But nonetheless, I'm a big fan of this pairing, and I actually wrote down, and it'll work within their next dance too. I wrote down, I feel like they are the couple that is consistently going out of the box and trying something new. And I think they take a risk every single week, whereas I feel like some of the other pros are very just, not generic, but classic and traditional. Traditional, that's the word. I feel like the other pros are very traditional, whereas I feel like they are taking a risk and saying, we're going to do something different.
Yeah.
Hopefully it lands. Sometimes it doesn't. I think last night their risks landed. I thought they were just all around a solid couple of the night. I think it once again goes into show, they had some critiques from the judges, which is fair. That's what they've been getting all season. But I love their dances. Both great dances.
Yeah. With that dance, I think she looked a beat behind. There was a moment kind of towards the middle of the dance that she got behind. She kind of, you could tell Ezra did a spin, and then she kind of was like, oh, wait, I need to spin too. So I think she maybe just like forgot the choreography a little bit. But also a jive is really fast. That's a fast-paced dance. And I think we talked earlier about how the song was maybe just, I think she couldn't fully keep up. And they talked about how a jive, you have to have a lot of stamina, and she does, but it's going to be challenging to keep up with that. But the choreography was unique and fun, like you said, and they're taking risks. But I do agree with Derek. It needed more attack and energy, and Jordan is kind of she's some weeks, like her dances, she's like so in it, she's like wow. And then I felt like with that, maybe it's because again she had the other dance she was thinking about, but I just feel like she was kind of giving me 60-70% effort. I wanted full, and you kind of see it in her face usually. You can tell she's really focusing, and it's like, no girl, I want to see you just live it out, like perform for me. I mean, she does, she's a gymnast, right? She talks about how she actually did a Prince routine her junior year at UCLA. Let me see that. Let me see that same confidence that you have on the gym floor.
I wrote
on
down
the ballroom floor.
I wrote down that Ezra seemed a little sad. I don't know if that had something to do with it. I don't know if you noticed, but after her first dance, Ezra just seemed really sad, and I don't know. But let's jump into the second dance because this was iconic. I loved this dance. So what was their second dance style? Argentine tango. I was thrilled to see at the beginning of this dance. I loved that pose they started off with. I think that they were, once again, kind of like Elaine, where they were coming with the fight. They were determined, and I think this was so phenomenal. I mean, those lifts and her kicks, she looked like a pro to me, in my opinion. I loved it. I think she hit every flick. I think they talked about it a lot in the package. She needed to be intense and hit her moves and her flicks, and I think she did just that. I love the leaps. I love how they utilized, her being a little bit smaller and being able to be kind of thrown around like that and like work her legs. I think that her being a gymnast was actually used to her advantage in that dance, because she was able to be a little bit stiffer and just like pa, which is I feel like what they are in gymnastics. Yeah. So I was like, that dance was second to none compared to their first dance, in my opinion.
Yes, I thought that was a super strong performance, and the judges loved it too. I agreed with the judges. I agreed with their critiques. I can't remember if they got any critiques, but she attacked that one so much more. So I feel like maybe her first dance wasn't as good because she was really focusing on nailing that dance. And she did. She got a perfect score, and I think she deserved that. In previous weeks, people have been talking about how Jordan and Ezra are consistently underscored.
100%.
Sometimes maybe they do deserve those lower scores, but I feel like I have seen some really solid dances from them that maybe get 8s or 9s. And so I was really happy to see them get a perfect score for that, because the Argentine tango is not easy. It's not an easy style. And that was pretty traditional, I would say, of course, with some of those unique leaps and lifts, but it was a great dance, really solid performance.
And I'm excited to see an Ezra freestyle. This is only Ezra's second season on the show, and he is going to the finals for the first time. So I'm so excited to see what he does with the freestyle. I feel like it's going to be so unique and fun. I'm a big Ezra fan, so I cannot wait to see them in the finale.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I think they're going to perform, and Jordan's competitive. I mean, you can
she
tell
wants to win.
She wants those perfect scores every week. She really takes it seriously. So I know she's going to work her booty off leading into that finale, and it's going to be a test for sure, but I think she's highly capable, and I'm really glad they made it to the finale. They were actually in the bottom 2 with Whitney and Mark.
Scared.
So I really thought Jordan and Ezra might be going home, but they stayed. I'm happy about it.
Yes. Okay. Last couple of the night.
Last couple, Robert and Whitney, fan favorites right here. This was very similar to Robert's week 1 jive that really caught a lot of people's attention, because he was really probably the strongest competitor from the get-go. It had a lot of the same moves, if you noticed, kind of even that first jump that he did off the table, of the judges' table, was similar. But Robert really nailed this. I mean, he kept up with Whitney. That move was from their first. He killed it. That's all I can say. That kind of perfectly sums it up. That was fun.
So
there were so many unique moves. I really do love Whitney's choreography. It's gotten better as the season has gone on. There were some weeks that she wasn't challenging him enough, and that was a challenging dance. Very quick. He just sells it. Like, he's really in his element when he gets to do those jives, those cha-chas, because he has so much energy. He's a bright, bubbly guy. You really get to see his personality, and when it comes to the technique, he nails it too.
And his point at the end was so cute. I love that. You could tell.
He's always like, I'm so excited.
You could tell from the beginning of that dance, he was like so happy to be there and so happy to be doing that style of dance. I think that he is a very strong competitor, but I think when he gets in those style of dances, it's, second to none. I think that he is so much better in those quicker, more, upbeat, happy dances that he can show his fun and goofy side, because I feel like that's just who he is.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not really the serious guy. He's not the, the intense guy.
Right.
I feel like he is what that dance was. And so that was my favorite dance from him from the night, I think, for sure. Honestly, I think that was one of my favorite dances from him for the entire season. I just think that he attacked it. It was clean. It was fun. It was him. I just felt like I was watching him dance. He wasn't trying to put on a persona. And compared to the second dance, that was my favorite.
I think their finale is going to look a lot like that. I think it's going to have a lot of fast jive, cha-cha elements to it, because again, that's where they shine. Those side by sides. He's loving it. You're just like, you just have to love him, because he looks like he's having such a great time, and he did not come into this with any dance experience. So I think his growth has been super impressive. And let's talk about his second dance, though, because it was totally different, very different. This was an Argentine tango, which typically you need to be a little bit more.
I think it was a Vietnamese waltz.
Oh, was it?
I think so. I might be wrong, though. Sorry, continue.
Okay. Okay, all right. I was wrong. Okay, Viennese waltz. I don't know why I put down an Argentine tango.
It kind of looks like it. I wrote down it didn't seem like a waltz to me.
It kind of had that,
I wrote it down.
That intense, serious vibe to it, not that like beautiful, graceful, emotional vibe to it. Okay, but this was also a solid dance from these two. With the Viennese waltz, though, again, like, you kind of have to be a little more like more romantic, connected, a little more emotional, and that's not Robert. So I think whenever we see these dances from him, we're always a little like, maybe that's not my favorite. No. But it was still solid dance. I mean, he led her well. I liked the choreography. I just liked the first one so much better.
I agree, and I wrote down literally like, how is this a Viennese waltz? Because I don't think that I would understand why you'd think it's an Argentine tango looking at it. I'm like, that is not a waltz in my opinion. I think it was a good dance, and it wasn't, I don't want to say it was bad. I didn't like it though. It's not him. And I think we saw him do this super fun, upbeat, happy-go-lucky jive, and then we see him do that and try to like flip a switch and be like intense and romantic with Whitney. And I feel like that's just not them. I think he's just, and I know that maybe isn't fair to like compare the two dances because they're two different styles.
Yeah,
he has to do it. But I also feel like that is part of dancing, is being able to lean into that, you know, the storytelling and the performance aspect, and I don't know, something about it was just cringy.
He's just such an infectious, joyous person that when I think people don't really take him as seriously, us included, when he does these serious dances. So we don't resonate with them as much. But the dance still performed well. They got 2 10s and a 9 from Derek. I think Derek was talking a little bit about something with his technique. I think he had some minor critiques for kind of his frame and things like that. But overall, still very solid. Robert and Whitney are major contenders for the Mirrorball Trophy. I know Rachel, one of our producers, has said she has thought from the beginning that she's going to win. He has the biggest social media following out of anybody on the cast this season, and people just love him. The judges love him. When he goes up and he hugs Derek and he hugs Carrie and he hugs Bruno. I mean, he's like, he's almost kind of like trying to win brownie points a little bit, but that's just who he is. He can't help himself.
And I don't think it's fake. I think that he just genuinely loves it and is just happy to be there and just wants to be friends with everybody.
He's just an affectionate, sweet person.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens. We need to lock in our Mirrorball predictions now, because next time we talk, we're going to know who wins. I don't know who to pick. So, okay, we'll recap the final 5 that we have. Dylan and Daniela, Jordan and Ezra, Robert and Whitney, Alex and Val, and Elaine and Allan.
Let's rank them then.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's rank them.
All right, you start.
5th place, Dylan and Daniela.
Yeah.
4th place, Elaine and Allan. I don't want to say that, but I have to. Jordan and Ezra, 3rd place. And then, I mean, we know these are the top 2. It's so tough. I'm going to go with, I don't know.
So
okay,
hard.
I'm going to go Alex and Val 2nd. I think Robert and Whitney are going to take it home. I think he's going to have a happy-go-lucky jive like we were talking about. I think his personality is going to win everybody over. I think that's what's going to happen.
I feel like I have to go the other direction then, because I agree with the 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place. Dylan and Daniela, Elaine and Allan, and then Jordan and Ezra. I agree with that. But that's tough too. It's really hard. And I really do think that Alex now has an advantage now that Whitney is out of the competition. I think Whitney was Alex's big competition because Robert stands out. He's a guy, so they're just different styles. But I think I'm going to have to go with Alex and Val. And I feel like I need to, because I've been hyping them up every single week. I really love them. I think that Val is going to push her so hard in this next week, and they are going to put out a really good dance. I do think it's going to come down to the wire because of social media followers, but I feel like Alex and Val have really been killing the. I mean, they all have, right?
Yep. But
they've been killing the social media game this week, so I think they're going to do it. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, it's going to be tight. It's going to be a fun week. The finale next week. We're looking forward to it. So can't wait.
Absolutely. So tune in next Wednesday. In the meantime, wherever you're watching, we are Iowa Plus YouTube. Comment. Let us know who you want to win the Mirrorball.
Yeah.
And we'll be back here next week to talk all about it.